Well, thank you for lending me the money for that sword, and I feel mighty better having at least something between me and the outside world. And he points to the new armor, even though it's kind of scratched here and there, and his sword is actually kind of chipped in a couple of places. He shows you, but he puts it in his hand, holds it up, and turns it and puts it back in his sheath. And he turns to the gnome and says, "No, I forget. What was your name? What's your name? Do I just call you gnome? Gnome. Let's just we'll just. I really feel like we should wait till morning to follow this craziness in our heads."
Yeah. Well, first off, you said having something between you and the outside world. Well, giving you the money kind of puts something for me between me and the outside world. And I point at you.
He smirks as you point at him. He kind of smirks a little bit, and he goes, "Huh?"
My name is Belcher.
Belcher. Just I think we should. And he doesn't give you his name. He looks at you and he says, "I think we should just try to find some place to settle for the night, and we'll see where this humming takes us in the morning. Well, what do you think?"
That sounds like a plan. In my travels here to get stuff for scribing and whatnot, would I have actually ever stayed here, or did we always go back to the library at night?
No, because taking the teleporter would take its toll on transportation wizard sort of thing. So you probably would have had to crash for the night and then continue on.
So I could, know of a place that I could lead us to that we could stay the night at. Basically,
you basically had cots set up in one of the rooms of the library, or what your temporary library was that you had set up inside the main building, like one of the side rooms sort of thing. There was probably 5 or 6 beds in there. Your boss was probably be camping out in one of the beds, and then the students would stay there, and a lot of the students would sneak out in the middle of the night to go and drink and carry on and whatnot. The goody two-shoes would stay in the rooms. So that there's probably 1 or 2 beds that might be available. Definitely one for you, but you don't know about the Dragonborn. So,
well, I have a place I can stay, but I don't really know if there's any inn or tavern or something that you would be able to stay at. And I point at the main building, where I came out of, as like that's really what I know is in there. Didn't really explore the town too much because books are interesting, and that's what I had in there. So, I don't really know if there's any place that you could stay other than just out in the street. So I don't know if you've been here before.
I've never been. What is this town again? I don't think I've ever been here. Oil barge or oil bar or something. Well,
yeah, that's
anyway,
it.
Listen. What was your Belcher? I don't think we should separate. I think you should come with me. We'll find. I got some gold now, so pretty sure we'll be able to find some place to stay.
I will follow you.
So he goes to look for a fairly inexpensive inn, probably on the lesser busy side of the town.
That there's a temporary living arrangement, which was basically a kind of hostel, a common area that a lot of people would sleep at their own risk, sort of thing. Just a big common room.
So he wouldn't stay at that room. He wouldn't stay in that inn. He would find like actually that has separate rooms.
This place was basically almost a ghost town to the area until these catacombs were opened up. You wouldn't know that sort of thing, but you know that this doesn't look like a regular town because there's not even really any signage up. If there is anything, it's like handwritten or hand painted on a broken board, and it's leaning. It was maybe hanging above the door, but now it's kind of fallen off and is leaning against the wall next to it. So if there was any sort of establishments, there's nothing like established. It's all temporary.
So he'll ask a couple of people that are walking by. He'll say, "Pardon me, is there a proper inn around?"
Haven't been to Oldebart in a while, have you? There's never been a proper inn here.
Well, is there any place we can stay other than that common room over there?
Oh, Your Highness doesn't like the common room? Do you get all of that? He just, oh my god. You better go sleep in the woods then.
He puts a hand on his sword, and he says, "All you needed to say is no. You didn't have to be a fool about it."
I thought I did. You can smell alcohol.
So he grips his sword tighter, looks at the guy, and looks past him, and then sort of just nods and walks by. And as he walks by, he kind of shoves him out of the way.
The guy staggers a little bit, sort of thing, and holds on to his buddy, and is like, "Well, I guess a fucking prick."
And he keeps walking. He doesn't even acknowledge what he said, and he'll head off to the common room.
Yep.
Go in. When he goes in, he'll ask whoever's in charge. Well, not ask. He'll look around, find a spot that's near the back door, but not in the open, like in a corner close to the back door, if there is a back door, or closer to the front door.
There's probably not there's barely even windows in this place. It's there's not beds set up. It's just basically floor space that's opened up, and you notice that there's like, probably 25-30 people in here right now. There's a fire that's burning at the back of the establishment, and there's really nobody in charge of anything. It's not like they're selling spots on the floor. It's just a common area that everybody can basically keep the rain, for the most part, because you look up at the ceiling, the holes in the roof, for the most part. And you notice, kind of like with basic perception check, you kind of look and you see people laying on the ground, then you see a spot, and then you kind of look up and you're going, now I know why that spot's not taken. There's a hole right above it. So yeah.
So if it's that dilapidated, he'll turn to the gnome and he'll say, "We're probably just better off out on our own. The roof is just as good as sky, it appears, in this place. Why not just save our gold? Come on, gnome."
Never slept in the woods before.
There's a first time for everything. And didn't you just say this is the first time you stole anything?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a thief?
Strange.
Feels strange, but good, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
It feels like it was meant for you, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's the problem. Stealing. It's like a fine female. All shiny on the inside. all nice on the outside, all pretty. They tell you lots of things, but deep down, they're rotten.
I'll take your word for that.
So he tries to go eastward, or wherever that humming, if it's still coming from, and he'll go out that way, find a secure location as he could, with keeping an eye on the road, but out of sight.
And it kind of comes to mind the place where you guys were having your conversation over by the river. You could kind of see the roadway and stuff like that through the foliage, but you realize that people looking the opposite way would be very hard pressed to see you there. It'd give you a way out to take off through the river or run up the other side. A lot of escape routes, but also a lot of clear line of sights that you'd be able to see but not be able to be seen as well.
So he goes there. We'll go there then. He suggests that. He says, that spot we were at earlier, that seems as good as any. And he heads for there.
Okay.
And Belcher will follow him.
Okay. So
he settles in, and then he says, "Listen, if you wanna get some sleep, I'll keep watch for now." He doesn't make a fire though. He tries to take his whatever clothes he has and tries to conserve heat.
What time of year are we in? Summer, spring, winter?
No, you're kind of late summer, like a lot of the crops and the harvests and collections and stuff like that. That's why market is getting to be a popular time now. And that's why you realize that most people are making their way to Parnast. So you're going to have a few cool nights and stuff like that, but it's not going to be unbearable.
Yeah, it's not going to be super cold. Okay. Belcher will still pull his bedroll out and kind of, try and find a spot that's not got too many rocks or stuff on it to bed down.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of have his backpack there close to him, and probably take his cloak off, but leave the rest of his clothes on as he gets ready for sleep.
As you put your head down to rest for the night, something happens, but we will get back to you.
I think we should start moving. As I kind of take the quill in my hand and look at it deeper. It's going to get dark very soon, and maybe we can discuss more on our journey.
Yeah, of course. I've already, started to wheel the wagon forward a little bit. Well, we could probably find somewhere better to rest. A little further closer to town, if that's okay with you. Or we can go into the woods.
I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, I think we should get moving. Can I take a little bit of time as we're prepping or moving along to get a deeper understanding of what Sichuan has handed Calliope?
She's handed you the canvases, and I'm assuming you guys probably would have rolled them back up again and put them away. Your thoughts are still kind of on that maybe last canvas that you've seen, but also on your canvas of you. And as you're kind of thinking about that, as you are kind of walking along, you're looking at this quill. The quill is not just... It looks like a regular quill, but as you touch it, and it feels almost warm to your touch. It feels like there's something in it.
If I touch the outside of it, it feels normal, but it just feels like there's something contained.
Give me an investigation check. Yeah, with a 6, it as you kind of run your hands up the shaft of the quill, for just a moment it felt like there was paper between your fingertips, and then the sensation fades and you realize that it's not really a feather that you're running your hand, or maybe it is, but it's a wooden quill. As you look closer at it, it's a weird type of wood, the shaft of it, but where the feathers would be if it was a bird's quill, it has a pattern, like a wood grain pattern on it, but the feathers move like a feather would, as you've held quills before, but in your mind you're thinking like this is a carved piece of wood, but it's not. It's pliable like a feather. And that's all you get from it.
Could I? There's no. I turned to Sichuan. Was there any ink to go along with this?
Not that I found in the bag, no.
I kind of swish it around in the air, pretending to do a little bit of writing.
It swishes through the air.
Well, we've had quite a day. I think we should find somewhere up ahead to rest, and maybe things will be clearer in the morning.
You realize you're about 4 hours away from town still, and it's getting close to dusk. You could try and push through to town, but where would you stay? Are you still being looked for?
I'm familiar with, like, I trade at Parnast quite a bit. Like,
Yep.
I'm willing to continue the journey forward.
Yep.
And in front of the place, I've got 5 gold on me.
I think Calliope would most likely, if we do push through, would crash pretty early on, just from all the exertion of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, you can sleep
Or
in
at
the cart.
least.
Sorry, as Calliope kind of glides into the back of the cart, Szechuan starts walking and starts making her way towards town. You guys are going to travel for 3 or 4 hours. During that time, the roads are emptying off quite a bit. The one thing is you start to see that Calliope is starting to stir from being in the cart. You don't know if because you're bouncing around a bit too much or maybe she's in pain, but that's what Szechuan notices.
Are you okay back there?
She doesn't really respond to you.
It's been a long day. Maybe she's just having nightmares. And I'll keep pushing forward.
Okay. Calliope, as you are starting to try and get some rest, you start to fall back into a bit of comfort for once. You're in that darkness again. You feel at peace, and as you are sitting in that darkness, in that quiet, peaceful place of darkness, you start to hear something, like a faint whining sound, and it's slowly getting louder and louder. And this is scary to you, because this is supposed to be peaceful. It's always been peaceful, except for last time you slept, where you seen the field of lights, and now all of a sudden you're starting to hear like high-pitched whining, a noise that you've never ever heard before. You've never had any other senses. You don't even remember being able to see until this morning. And as you progress, louder and louder it becomes, and you wake up because you cannot, the pain is too much. And as you awake in the cart, you are bouncing around and everything else, and you just hear like it's just this constantly.
She kind of bolts upright and goes to instinctively cover her ears to try and keep noises out until she realizes that it was not coming from outside. Why does this keep happening? She says in the back.
Did you say something?
What? These voices won't get out of my head.
You talking about the humming?
No. On top of that, all the voices of people passing by, and from you, and I'm sure you're feeling this. I'm sure it's aggravating you just as much.
What is Szechuan thinking right now?
At the time, in the peaceful quiet of this walk, as like twilight's fallen, and we're walking to town, I was just mostly thinking about what a strange day it's been. Like, obviously, something's in the works. And then my mind trails off to, I could really make a nice mushroom soup recipe. Like,
And Calliope, this is what you kind of went to bed or went to sleep thinking about and hearing, is that voice quite clear. And now it's that voice and everything else that you're hearing. And you've been in and out of town quite a bit, sort of thing. You can see kind of a glow in the sky, and you realize you're probably about an hour or so away from town.
I can't go back there right now. I can't.
is it it's the voices you're saying?
They're just getting louder and louder as I get close. I remember just kind of like pulling at her hair a little bit, fingers kind of grasping down and pulling down a bit. How are you keeping your composure right now?
Mostly just listening to the humming, you know. I've gotten really good at drowning out white noise to a degree, you know. I don't.
The one thing you realize right now, Szechuan, as she mentions this, is that you don't hear the humming right now.
Yeah, then I'll notice it's quiet. I'm like, Wait a sec. I'll stop moving the cart, and I'll turn to Calliope and just try and I guess console her. Like, hey, it's okay. I don't know what you're hearing right now. It's pretty dead silent out here.
I imagine that you see a bit of like sweat forming around her brow, and a little bit of a panic. I'm not really looking at you, but trying to focus on getting these sounds out of her head, even to no avail.
Yeah. Would I, with my like proficiency in like herbalism, would I know if I can like make any sort of like tea right now? You know, try and help, calm her down based on my supplies.
I'm sure that you can probably dig through your supplies and pull out something that would kind of soothe or kind of numb a bit of surface level pain sort of thing that somebody was in. Might make them a bit drowsy.
Sure. So I'll just start rummaging through like my supplies. Be like, all right, I've got licorice root. I've got some guam. I've got mint. Some of these mushrooms of different varieties, and I'll start just trying to throw together some sort of nice minty herbal tea, which will probably take 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm. As you see her digging through this cart and everything else, all you can think of is that I gotta get away. I can't go this way. I gotta get away.
Yeah. So you see Calliope kind of getting a bit jittery and eyes darting left to right, and muscles tensing, like they might bolt.
And so she's hearing my thoughts too while I'm.
Yep.
So she's hearing me like list off all the ingredients in my head and being like,
Yep.
and then like knock her out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna like put my hand on your shoulder. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Calliope's getting a lot more. What's the term? Suspicious or worried about your intent, even though you're thinking of helping. Just like sedation doesn't sound appealing to Calliope at the moment.
Yeah. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna find something to help you with your. I'll just call it a headache. I've got plenty of things here. You just gotta give me 10 minutes to throw everything together. Bear with it.
Am I able to wait 10 minutes?
You tell me. If you had a dagger sticking in the base of your skull, would you want to walk away from it to get it out, or would you just mind waiting 10 minutes?
Well, that sounds pretty leading to the question. So
I'm just asking. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying you know these are your options.
Yeah. I feel like since Calliope has recently been given the freedom of choice in her actions, that she would not feel comfortable waiting around regardless. And she begins to get up from the cart slowly, and then starts climbing down and away from you.
As you're slipping away and Szechuan is kind of digging through. They must be over here. No, I put them in this bag over here because they get, and you can hear all these thoughts going through her head. No, I got to keep these mushrooms away from these ones because then they start to lose their potency because the other mushrooms start to absorb it, and these ones rot faster together. I got to separate those. I learned that last time. And you hear all these thoughts going through her head as you're starting to just kind of stagger off away from town and trying to get this pain out of your head. Narok, you're sitting there and you are thinking about the day. You're thinking about what happened today. Who is this? And you're kind of looking down at this little gnomish creature and wondering, like, this is the last person in the world that I would ever have thought I would be hanging out with tonight. You noticed that the gnome fell asleep quite quickly. Probably because he hasn't been this active before ever in his life. He's his biggest. You kind of imagine like his biggest workout might have been carrying 4 books at once. But yeah, you watch him and he's like snoring away, drool coming out of the corner of his mouth, and you kind of see the camera zoom into the head of Belshar, and you just see darkness. There's darkness all around. You see Belshar as you're sleeping, the calm, peaceful darkness that you have known and been comfortable with, and you try to perceive things in the darkness, kind of looking for that star or looking for that field of light, and you don't see anything of the sorts. You don't. You believe that you're actually seeing. You feel like, somehow that you have your eyes open, but you also feel like it's back to normal for you, and you kind of feel peace and comfort in that. But as you're laying there in the darkness, you don't see anything, but you definitely hear it.
Do I notice? So, are you saying that I can't see Belcher anymore?
No, Belchar is laying there on the ground. I said it's kind of like the camera angle zooms in on his head and it's in darkness. You're basically seeing his thoughts.
Oh.
It's a narrative thing. Just stay out of it. Okay. So, anyways, Belcher, as you're sitting there sleeping and you're in your calm, peaceful darkness again, you start to hear that screeching. You can't see anything, you just hear it, and it's around you. And you keep hearing that same thing echo over and over and over in your head. I see you.
I imagine I'd probably be tossing and turning a little bit, like having a nightmare. Just because of the voice from the figure that was kind of scary, and my magic didn't do anything to it, so yeah, probably be a little bit scary.
You sleep for you don't know how long, but then all of a sudden see a hood go right up to your face, and you wake up.
I would immediately be looking around, seeing if where is it?
Did Narok see him turn?
Yeah, he was sleeping peacefully. Everything was calm, quiet for probably about 2.5 hours. And then all of a sudden you just see him bolt sit straight up, and you just heard that.
He turns and what's the matter? You have a nightmare?
There was one of those cloak figures.
Where?
It was in my face.
Your face. No, there's nothing. It's in your dream then.
Oh, well, that's new.
No, it's nothing. It's fine. Nothing. There's been nothing. Just the birds and the
Well,
frogs.
well, I mean, in my dream, that's normally it's just darkness. I don't really have a whole lot, so that's kind of new having that
Darkness.
there.
What do you mean darkness?
Just
Just you dream of darkness?
yeah, it's always just dark. You know, you don't even see the stars or anything. It's just dark.
How long have you had this darkness dream?
Always.
So when you say always, he doesn't talk. As he gets up, he gets up, walks over, and then looks down at you, like standing 6.5 feet tall. He looks down. He says, "What do you mean you've had it all?"
That's just what I've always had dreams of. You know, I just always, I go to sleep, it's dark. You know, that's how it's always been.
Where you say you're from?
Water deep on the Sword Coast.
Well, what if I told you all my life I've had that same dream?
Huh. Maybe you were right earlier. Maybe we were chosen to, hold up the wrist again, for
Do
these.
Yeah, he holds up the wrist. And do we still hear the humming?
No.
We don't hear the humming.
Nope.
And then
Huh.
he turns as he looks at his wrist again, and he says, "Strange, but I don't hear that song anymore."
Yeah, me neither. Huh.
I don't know what that means. This is all very confusing. That old
What?
lady and her puzzles. That I should have killed her. Should have killed that old lady. I knew it was too good to be true. Listen, we got to find out what's going on. First thing in the morning, we're heading east. We're gonna
Yeah,
find out what's
I,
going
th-
on.
I think we should
We're
go
gonna
to the
look for
lodge.
that
Yeah.
invisible castle in your book.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Something's not right. And he sits down beside Belcher. Listen, go back to bed. Get some sleep if you can. I'll keep the birds and the frogs away from you.
Okay. But you need sleep too.
I'm fine. I'll be fine.
Well, I may not look like much, but you know, everybody needs sleep at some point, and I will conjure up in my hand a little bit of frost magic. I'm not without, some defenses. Just kind of chuck it off into the woods. The ray of frost. So wake me up when it's my turn for watch.
Yeah, I'll get you. When I get too tired, I'll get you up.
and you try to go back to sleep. So, as you're digging through the back of the wagon, trying to find the last ingredient in your kit, you look up to say, it'll just be a moment, and she's not in sight right now.
Lappy? What? Where'd you go? And I'm like scanning, which I don't have dark vision. Um, I'll just start shouting it. Calliope!
And in about 2 or 3 minutes of you kind of looking and listening into the darkness, you start to hear a bit of humming coming from the west. Or east, sorry.
Wait, there's that sound again. I'll ask the humming voice. Is that where she is? I don't know how this works. I'll stand there and try and remember what Kelric was showing me about when I brought the bird back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll close my eyes and try and listen to the hum.
As you listen for the hum, you close your eyes and you kind of move your head to the left and to the right, and you can, as you do that, as you're looking in the darkness, your eyes closed, you can see a glint of color in the distance to the west. East, sorry.
Alright, I'll open my eyes, grab my cart.
You don't see the color, but you can hear the song.
Yeah, and I'll just bring my things with me, start heading that direction.
Fast pace, slow pace, walking pace?
Walking pace.
Okay.
So you couldn't have gotten too far.
I think Calliope would just be mindlessly walking, as trying to disassociate as much of the pain and noise as possible.
Mm-hmm. And there was a few times that you kind of like staggered, and then you would run for a little, like jog for a little bit sort of thing, and then you would slow down again, catch your breath, and then, okay, it's going, it's getting better, it feels better-ish, I think. No, it's still there. So you continue to just stagger off into, but you feel a little bit better now that you've gotten a little bit further away. You do realize that there's something to do with the town, or maybe it's just people in general. And you hear, probably about 10 minutes later, you hear, where is she? Why can't I see her? Oh, I wish I could see in the dark. I'll just keep following the humming.
If I have the presence of mind, I would loudly say, "I'm over here," but I wouldn't wait for a response. I would keep moving away.
Okay. Give me a perception check there, Szechuan. With a 17, you thought you heard something from the direction you're calling, saying, "I hear." So there's a gap in the sounds.
I'll just Calliope. It's probably not good to be by yourself in the dark. you you, you might want to come back. Hello.
I yell out, I'm sorry. I can't. I cannot. As I keep moving away.
I'm guessing I'm just getting like bits and pieces of that, like static radio.
Yeah, you're
Or am I
hearing.
actually hearing it?
You hear no, can't, something else. Can't really make it out. It's a distance, probably like 60. I don't know. It's hard to tell between the humming and whatnot. Do you move quicker
Can
or
I-
do you stay at the regular
Can I
pace?
attempt to cast a spell?
Yeah,
One
you
that I
can
might
try.
have. Yeah.
With disadvantage.
I will. Well, it's not really a roller, so I'll give it up to your discretion. So
Okay.
I try and think back on some of my training and focusing on a spell that my family wanted me to learn because it would be useful. And I attempt to send a message.
Okay.
It's a range of 120 feet, so let me know if I.
Okay.
But
So
my message. Yeah, go ahead.
you have to point in the direction, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would probably turn my head towards the direction I think I came from.
Yeah. And you hear this, Szechuan, in your head.
I can't go back that way. My head is pounding.
You can reply to this message.
Is that copywritten?
I don't know. I don't know. It was a short blurb. They will catch it.
Where on earth are you running off to? Like, you're running off into the middle of nowhere.
One more time. I send. The farther from the town I go, the less it hurts. So follow me if you must.
Well, I don't want a young woman like you just running off into the woods, into the prairie, or this open wilderness. You don't know what's out there.
I don't respond, and I keep moving.
Hello? I'm like saying it in my head now, thinking I can still respond with a message.
Mm-hmm. No response.
Well, I'm just gonna crawl into my wagon and stay put. If she wants to come back, she'll come back.
Okay.
And then I go until I feel comfortable enough to pass out, and I will not check my surroundings for. It's just whenever I feel good enough to fall asleep.
Okay. So, as this happens, you guys continue to hear the humming, but you do not hear humming like you did prior to having your first nap. And as the darkness enters your being, you see so as Narok has been sitting there under the tree looking at the gnome, thinking through how can it possibly be that this creature and I have anything in common. You need to give me a Constitution saving throw. No,
Tower?
just roll it. You get through the night. You realize you stayed up the entire evening. The little gnome has been waking up and then kind of trying to go back to sleep, and he never woke up startled anymore, but he's definitely been contemplating things and going through things in the night. But probably because you don't trust anybody to watch over your interest, because they don't even know what you're running from. What do you do? It's morning.
It's morning. I
About
kind of
7 o'clock in the morning or so.
I kind of like I kind of look at the gnome. I get up. Nora gets up. He goes, oof. Walks over to the gnome. Is he still turning, tossing and turning?
No, he's been calm for the last hour or so.
So he takes his boot. He kind of puts it on his rear end. Kind of shakes him. It's time to get up. We got to get going now. Does Narok still hear the humming, or it's still gone?
Still gone.
It's still gone. He goes, get up. We got to get going. This is not something just doesn't feel right.
Okay. Gather up shove my bedroll back in my backpack, and put my cloak back on, and
He goes, hey, Belchy, do you have any rations in there?
actually yes. And I'll pull one out for myself, and I'll hand one over. Here you go.
And he takes it. Thank you, oblige. And he starts eating it. He says, I think we should let's just get going as quickly as you can. Do you still hear that humming? Is that music still in your head?
Nope. Don't hear it at the moment.
Well, I say we still head east. I mean that's strange. You know what? We'll just go. We'll go there and see what's what. I got a sword. Well, let's just get going.
Wait, just one moment. I pull the book back out, and I open it up, and turn, past the pages that have had pictures added, and see if anything new is added on like the next page that would have been blank.
There are a whole bunch of new symbols on the following pages. The other thing that's quite interesting too in this book is it's actually writing on both sides of the pages.
Any new pictures, or is it just the symbols?
No, there is a picture of a pretty accurate representation of the Dragonborn that you've been with. So there's a picture of sleeping in the woods, like it shows like trees and whatnot, and you also see a picture of Cranston.
Huh. And I'll point at the picture of Narok. Is it still a blank page for you?
Yeah, I see nothing.
Huh.
There's nothing there.
Because these pages were blank yesterday, and now there's a picture of you in here. And
Of me?
yeah.
What do you mean it's me?
It's like somebody made a painting of you in my book.
Like naked?
Yeah, no, it's just a bust of you, so your neck and shoulders and face.
More
Here,
wrinkles.
let me try something, and I'll close it and lock it back up, and I'll point to your wrist and run your wrist over the lock. Maybe it has to be the person that unlocks it has to, can see it.
Narak reaches over, grabs the book,
Mm-hmm.
looks at it, and holds it so he can put his other wrist as close to the latch as possible.
As you do, you start to see these silvery worms, vines. You don't know how you would describe them. Maybe vines because there's a flower there. But you just see them continue to move, and they kind of, you see 3 or 4 ends kind of appear and almost reach, and then they just go back in again and start curling around again.
Okay, does the latch open?
Nope.
Huh. That's
There you go.
okay. Well, it was worth a try. And I'll
Now, why does it have a picture of me in there?
I don't
Listen.
know.
The sooner we get to this castle or whatever you saw in there, the better we can find out what's going on.
Yep. And I'll shove it back in my backpack and okay, I'm ready. I've finished my ration.
Gather all our stuff, and we start to head east.
Okay. So the two the two silhouettes continue to walk down the road. It's a cloudy day today. It doesn't look like storms, but you feel like there might be a storm in your future. And the camera angle pans out from there and zooms in on darkness. Calliope, as sleep finally overtakes you, you hear voices in the darkness, but it seems to only be maybe 2. They're at quite a distance. You hesitantly focus to try and get a little bit closer to hear, maybe, somehow. And you're taken aback. One of the voices is your father's? But you've never heard a quake in his voice. He sounds quite fearful. Master, I will not fail you. I have sent out many followers, and they will not get away.
Where is your bastard daughter? She will be my first.
I have sent out others, the other factions also. It's impossible for them to escape, or for me to fail you. The voices seem to fade as screeching interferes with you hearing the voices any further. And without warning, a faceless, hooded cloak appears inches away from you. You wake up sweating. In the other half of the screen, it kind of pans over, and you are sitting in the darkness. And you see, Szechuan, the quill. You see the quill spinning in front of you, kind of twirling like something is floating through a space. And you don't see your hands reach out towards it, but you have a feeling like if you were to run your fingers along the shaft of the quill, you kind of see something being pulled out from the end of the quill, like the top of the feather, and unroll, and you see yourself, or you're assuming yourself, because that's all you've ever seen in here. You see it wrapping itself around the frame. And then you start to see dots, and you see the quill bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, all over random places, all over on this white canvas. And you continue to watch, but all you see is dots. You don't see the bigger picture. Your eyes are just so focused right on, if you have eyes, like your senses are so focused on just watching the quill bounce up and down, and you see it jump from this side of the page to that side of the page, to jumping over to a white area, to jumping over to another area, and you see the colors fade and change from one color to the next, and then you see the quill come back over and go over top of another dot that's already there, and you really look closer and you realize it's not dots, and there's a whole bunch of small little different symbols everywhere. But your senses are almost to the point where you have your eyes right at the tip of the quill, and then the quill stops and you wake up. You're sitting in the edge of the cart and you are feeling like your hand is cramping, like it hurts, and you look down at your hand and there is the quill in your hand. And on the ground in front of you is the canvas, and there's a new painting on the canvas. Yep. On the canvas you see a figure of a dragonborn and a very colorful gnome in the far top part of the picture. And in the center of the picture is a hooded cape, no face inside the hood, and the cape is spread out so that it is spreading from one side of the painting to the other side of the painting. And closest to you, or at the bottom of the painting, there's a picture on the left-hand side of you in the cart, and on the other side, in the other corner, you see a curled up in a ball, gray and blue figure in the fetal position.
Ominous. I will first look around, obviously noticing that Calliope never came back, and then climb out of the cart. And do I notice any humming? I'll take that as a yes. Oh, slowly start dragging my stuff
Coming
with
from the
me
east.
eastward, trying my best to follow it in its precise direction.
It's laid out now, sort of thing, and you can see, it's not like the prairies or anything like that, but you can see quite a distance away, but you don't see anything on the horizon yet.
I'll just try and keep my eyes peeled for anything that looks different. Like, can I make a survival check to try and track where she went?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, of course.
9.
9. So, yeah, you definitely see a bunch of tracks. You definitely see a lot of footprints with those tracks, but you couldn't determine which was hers.
This is even like off the path. I'm noticing a bunch of footprints.
No, I'm just saying you're walking on a road.
Oh.
If you rolled lower, I would have said you don't see the tracks, you don't see anything. You see a lot of grass and it's not bent.
Okay.
What are you doing, Calliope?
So I think as soon as I am promptly awoken, I sit up quickly and I scan the horizons. Am I in a field, or what am I looking at when I wake up?
When you look up, you're in a field. You're probably still... There's some straggly trees and bushes and stuff like that, but you have definitely gotten off of the road. You're laying in long grass, probably waist high for you, and you pretty much just see over top of the crest of the grass. That's pretty much it, since you're sitting down on the ground.
Do I hear any voices in my head at the moment?
You listen and you don't hear anything right now.
I stretch and I stand up in the field, and I try and get a better bearing on potentially where the road is, or anything of note that I can see once I'm standing.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Seven.
You don't see anything else around here, but the one thing that you can make out quite clearly is the bent grass in which you had made your way to the point that you're resting now.
Okay. Seeing no other paths or anything of interest, I'll take a little bit of food from my pack, which had a few things, but not anything of not too much of substance. A few berries or so, and then start meandering back towards the path that I walked.
Okay. You probably walk for 15-20 minutes as you're chewing on your food, and you can all of a sudden start to hear every second or third word of some thoughts that sound a bit like this. Szechuan.
I wonder where that girl ran off to. She stayed out all night on her own. I hope she's okay. I'm sure I'll find her. Or parts of her. Oh dear.
You can hear the humming right now as you're walking towards her, Calliope. You've pretty much assumed or can kind of confirm that if you get any sort of distance away from each other, the humming will continue. But as you get closer, the humming does stop, and you can then start to pick up bits and pieces of thoughts or words. Maybe you haven't been able to confirm that, but who else would be sitting there thinking those thoughts right now? And as you come over the next little bluff sort of thing, you can see a very tall furball walking, pulling a cart, and kind of looking all around, trying to look for something or someone.
I make my way towards Szechuan, and when I'm in range, if she still doesn't see me of 150 feet, then I will send a quick message. If it doesn't
And
work,
in your head, Szechuan, you hear,
I'm over here, and I start waving my hands. I am sorry I ran away. I will be with you in just a moment.
I start looking in every direction. Huh?
And you can see in the direction that the humming was coming from, but now has stopped. You can now see a figure waving and walking towards you, probably a good 100 feet off or so.
Oh, thank goodness. Whew.
As I approach, I say, Calliope says, I suppose that you don't hear what I hear, because that was one of the worst I've felt when I think back. Maybe not the worst I've felt, but darn near close to.
Well, no, I can't say that I do. I was very puzzled when you ran off. I'll make sure that I have uh, some tea prepared for you ahead of time to help ease your mind, so that way whatever is causing you distress doesn't cause you to run away.
You can't hear my thoughts. Is that
Oh,
true?
well, I guess I sort of do. Uh,
What do you mean?
I feel like I get words here and there. Um,
Oh, you mean this? And I do a quick message spell. Is this what you mean?
oh, is that what it is? It's a spell the whole time? Okay.
That is
Okay.
not what I'm hearing. I am hearing some of your thoughts, some of anyone who passes by's thoughts, and apparently the whole damn town that we're going towards. I can hear almost every thought of everyone in Parnass. The closer we get, the louder it gets, and I cannot parse it, and it is driving me to the point of what I did last night.
So I start thinking about all the dead birds that I've seen. Uh, trying to pick up if like she can still hear my thoughts. Dead birds.
You hear everything that he just said, or she said.
The birds, countless. I'm.
Hmm.
I can. I don't know how. I don't know why, but it is happening, and she starts to look distressed again. I just don't know what to do about it.
Oh, so you can read minds?
She doesn't
Just
answer.
always? Oh, I'm thinking it, so you can probably hear it. um, well, that's intrusive. Uh,
I'm not doing it on purpose. I assure you. If I could take it away, I probably would.
uh, I start thinking about watching frogs play leapfrog to try and lighten the mood.
I appreciate it. Um, I don't know. I cannot go back that direction, or I am going to have another episode as I did before. So I don't know what we can do, or maybe maybe I should just. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not used to having decisions to make. I don't. I want to be strong in my decisions, but I don't know. I don't know.
I got you. I got you. Would you like me to prepare you some tea so you can sip on that and see if that might help? Like we can start approaching a little bit after the tea is kicked in and see if that's dulled it in any bit. I'm
Do
I'm
you
not
have
going
anything
to.
stronger than tea?
I mean, you could try eating herbs that haven't been prepared.
Shrooms.
Uh, I've got shrooms. I've got herbs. I've got other medicinal things. I
Load
would
me up.
recommend eating
What?
ingredients raw.
Load me up.
Uh, Load
Whatever
you up.
you think will work.
All right. Um,
What did you do with the canvas after you started heading off?
I just left it in my cart. Like it's with me, rolled up. Uh,
Oh, so you took it off the frame and rolled it up? The one that you just...
oh wait, like you said, another one just an entire frame just appeared, or
When you woke up this morning, you were holding the quill in your hand, and that frame with the canvas on it was sitting on the ground in front of you.
oh, whoops. I thought I dreamt that. All right. It's in the cart. Then.
Okay. So give me a perception check, Calliope. Yeah, you see kind of a face down painter's canvas with a 9, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think Calliope would be too inquisitive about that right now. She has other things on her mind. Yeah. Give me the strong stuff and maybe I can make it through.
So as you prepare your medicinal remedies to help alleviate her future eggheads, you guys have been traveling on the road, keeping, not as fast a pace as you would wish, because every time you take one step, he's taking about 2 or 3 to kind of catch up to your one.
Yep.
He's not tiring or anything like that. At least he's not letting on to the fact that he's never walked this much in his
I have short little legs.
in his in his time in the library. And he's never really had to try to keep up with anybody, because he'd be carrying a book in his hand and walking and reading at the same time, and trying not to bump into things. His peripheral vision is crazy accurate, sort of thing. He can walk through a cafeteria and not get hit by any flying food or anything like that, and still carry a book and not have any concerns or worries that anything is ever going to hit it.
Yeah.
But you see him kind of walking along, and if you could read his mind, he'd be saying, "Why do Dragonborns have to have such long legs?" Yeah. So, anyways, so you guys are moseying on along. You haven't heard a note, a hum, a nothing. You have been traveling probably for, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours now. Making your way back out to the Grey Vale Run, which is the main road, because Orlbar is kind of off the beaten path, because you cross over the different rivers that kind of all intersect there. Mm-hmm. But as you have made your way back to the main road, you notice that there's a fair bit of traffic in Grey Vale and on the Grey Vale Run. A lot of it seems to be heading towards the east, You see some wagons coming back from the east heading west, and they are loaded down with wares of some sort, covered in tarps and whatnot. But you see the animals hauling these things are quite tired from not as easy as their trip there you're imagining. So
Okay. How close are we to Lork?
you're going to be at least another 2 or 3 days before you make it to Lolork.
Oh, damn it! We should have got that. Oh my god! Damn, we should have got a ride. He turns to the gnome and says, "Is there anything else in that book? Have you checked? It's strange that I heard that song in my head these past few days, and now it's just sort of disappeared."
Yeah, I don't hear it either. And the only other things that got added to the book, was a picture of you and some words. Well, I think they're words. They're symbols. I can't read them yet. I'm working on that. And a picture of my boss. And yeah, nothing else helpful. I just know that the first picture was of a building in Lolork, so that was kind of my main clue, other than the humming. And well, the humming's gone now.
Well, it's all just a bunch of riddles and puzzles, and like I said, I should have killed that old lady. But well, you did hear that humming coming from this direction, and if that building is in Lork, then I guess we just keep going there. Is there any carts or anybody going towards Lork?
There's lots of people going in. I'm not saying lots. It's not like the Autobahn or anything like that. But we're talking, probably a cart, and then maybe, half an hour passes, and then you see another cart coming from another direction, and then another half hour, 45 minutes, and you'll see
any cart that goes towards the direction that we're gonna go. I'm gonna try and stop.
Okay. So you probably are walking for like another half hour, 45 minutes. There's not a cart coming, but there is 2 guys on horseback, moving at a pretty brisk pace towards the direction you're going.
Okay, if they're just on horseback, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd stop them.
Okay.
I'm looking specifically for a cart that has that we can like hop onto and hopefully get quicker.
Okay, so as you're walking along the side of the trail, you kind of stay off to the side so the horses can pass by. You see the 2 horses pass by, and give me a perception check.
All right, I got a 19.
You see a symbol on the side, the backhand side of the saddle, and it is a symbol for your group. And you start to see the horses
I stop.
Ride.
I stop
and
right away. I stop.
You see the horses stop.
Yeah.
And you see them start to slow down, and then you start to see them turn and face you.
I turn toward before as they stop. When I saw the symbol, I will turn toward Belcher and I say, "You're illusion magic. You're illusion. Make me look like something else now, right now." I don't know how long it takes. Stop talking and do it.
I'll use minor illusion to give him a bunch of warts and a beard.
On a dragonborn.
Oh right, I forgot you're Dragonborn.
No, that's what you did. That's what you did. Yeah.
Oh,
No, so you you have your back to you're facing the gnome, and Belshazzar is kind of looking like okay, he's panicking, and he does something. You don't know what he did, and he kind of looks at you, and then his eyes kind of get big, and then he's like, oh, and then he kind of smiles at you and winks and gives you a little thumbs up, sort of thing.
All right, I look at him and I say, okay, and then I keep my head down. I don't actually turn towards them. I start to walk off at an angle, like into either the woods, if there's woods nearby, or the like a field, I guess. What's
Hold there.
And then he keeps walking.
I said hold. Bruce? Narok?
So when he says my name, he'll stop and he'll turn around and look at them.
They look at you, and then they look at each other, and then they just start laughing. How did you think that was going to trick us?
He looks down at the Narok. Looks down at the gnome. Goes, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm not who you think you're looking for. I don't know who you're talking about.
You see the one guy fall off the horse laughing. He's laughing so hard.
He can't see it. So
When have you ever seen a dragonborn with a beard? That's freaking hilarious.
Beard.
The other guy's like,
Beard.
oh,
Gnome, what did you do?
no, it's the wart. The wart hit him. I couldn't tell it was him because of the wart.
So Narok puts his hand on his forehead, shakes his head. He looks down at the gnome and says, Gnome, we gotta talk. And do I recognize these two?
Yeah, one is the guy that was in the market, who is kind of you've seen him before. The other guy is just he with your perception check, you realize that he actually has a symbol on him. It looks like a black scepter with kind of something green and a gold circle somehow. It's a weird tattoo. It's hard to tell from the glance that you got, but that's what you got. He's definitely not part of your crew. He's with, or it's a new member, not kind of sworn in yet, or whatever.
So I don't recognize one of them, but the other one I do?
Yeah, the one you've seen before. He chased you, and he got thrown out of the back of the cart.
And his name was...
And
I wrote it down, I forgot.
It's Zulin, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Or...
Zulin. That's right.
Yeah.
And he turns to Zulin and he goes, Zulin, listen.
Yeah.
I'll let you leave. I'll let you live if you leave right now.
Oh, please don't hurt us, old man.
He doesn't.
He's got a cackle on him.
He doesn't say anything. And he turns to the gnome and he kind of whispers as quiet as he can to the gnome. He says, Gnome, get behind me and get ready to run.
So, Calliope, you are taking a few sips of this homebrew remedy of Szechuan's, and it kind of, the first taste, you have to admit it was kind of caught you off guard. You thought you might have been drinking something, laundry water or something at one point in time. But then after the first sip, it kind of numbed your mouth completely, and you really didn't taste the other sips. So
I think it's I think it. I think it's working.
Oh, perfect. Did you like the flavor?
I couldn't really taste it.
I hope you're not allergic to anything that's in there. Ah,
It's good. It's good.
just try and
you start to feel like you can't really hear her thoughts. It's kind of a little bit foggy, like her thoughts are almost drunk sounding, like slurring and slowing down and speeding up really fast and slowing down, and it's hard to even think.
I think we're on the right track here. I don't think I can walk though. So if we could do the same thing as before, where I'm in the cart.
yeah, go ahead. Cover yourself up. Get yourself nestled in there. You can probably take a couple of the sacks of ingredients and create like a makeshift pillow. Just sip your tea and um. Well,
You kind of
no,
push the canvas off to the side and kind of make
Pretty
yourself a
picture.
little spot, and you kind of just chillax back there, feeling kind of numb.
My head's kind of nodding a bit, and just like looking around at the wonders of the lands around me.
And Szechuan is kind of sitting there thinking, maybe I shouldn't have used 4 mushrooms, maybe just 3.
very true. I was like, well, I'll make sure to have more of that prepared for later. So, you take care. I'll just you'll just feel like the cart jostle a little bit as I pick it up and start wheeling it forward
So as you start wheeling it forward, which way are you going?
towards Parnast. Like, I'll make a survival check to make sure that I go uh, where I'm supposed to.
Are you going to try and go into Parnast, or are you trying to go around Parnast, or?
I'm not afraid of Parnast, so I will go into Parnast.
Okay. So you start traveling. You start getting like an hour or two kind of back to where you were before, and you look back, and Calliope is kind of looking at the pretty lights, you're assuming, and not really reacting the same way she did before. Calliope, you don't really, you hear muffled sounds, and you don't really hear very many. It's just static and white noise sort of thing for the most part.
It sounds like rushing water.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you guys make it to the edge of town. As you're coming into town, you see the Zentarum have a presence there, sort of thing. It's not like a marked militia or anything like that, but you can pick out a Zentarum soldier pretty good by now. You notice that there are a group of people that are kind of checking in carts, and they're looking at different people as they're walking through and into town. What do you do?
Well, completely in the open with my 6 foot tall furball self. Just
Mhm.
walking into town. Noted. I'm barefoot. I'm just
Mhm.
so, dirt and mud covered, feet. With my wares and my traveling companion. Uh,
Calliope is in the back, kind of staring at her wrist and like turning it back and forth and just looking at the lights.
Okay. So you start approaching the. It's not really a gate to the cities as much. In the new part, there's a gate, but the old part is kind of sprawls and whatnot. You start approaching the gate, and you start to hear uh, people. You see them grabbing back a hood and pulling it back on someone's face, and looking. No, not her. And they keep going through. And they seem to definitely be looking for a person. They're not looking at people's wares to see what they might be bringing in or what they can take or anything like that.
hmm.
You're probably about 4 or 5 people back in the lineup.
That's not normally this long of a line to get in. Um,
Yeah,
Interesting.
they're looking for someone. I can kind of. And it goes back to looking at her wrist. Interesting. Just
Well,
out of it.
yeah. Is there any way you can like lay on that arm? These opalescent tattoos might, you know, draw some attention.
So pretty.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
but
Uh,
okay. And I kind of turn my body to like face the side of the cart with my arm down, but still looking at my arm.
okay. That's probably for the best. There you go. I'll just tuck you in with like that cloak, just a little bit, just nestle you in.
So the wagon keeps, like the other wagon in front of you moves up, and you hear the people, these 2 individuals at the gate. They're going, uh, anybody else in the cart with you? You hear the old couple sitting there going, "Oh, no, it's just us." All right, move along. And you see the other guy kind of walk and kind of looking in the back of the cart, trying to see if he sees anything. And then he looks back and sees you're the next person standing in line.
And just tower over him. Hi, how's it going?
Uh, oh, who do you have in the cart back there?
Oh, this is my traveling companion. We're merchants. I sell herbs. I have a farm out in the woods, about 4 or 5 hours that way, where I get my ingredients. I'm just coming in to sell at the market. I'm a little late, but
You. And he points to his halberd sort of thing. He points towards the person sitting in the back of the cart.
she
Y-
she
yeah.
she samples my goods. She might not be all there at the moment.
Shut up! I'm not talking to you.
Oh,
Take that hood off.
Uh, I ignore him and I just kind of giggle a bit in the
uh,
back.
she again. I'll tell you, she's not all there. She's uh,
He walks over and he grabs the top of your hood and he pulls it back. And that's where we're going to end tonight.